Okay, I'm recording now. Good morning, everybody. This is how to do the Roost head wrap. Roost head wraps, how to get the bump. My name is Fiametta da Trastevere. I'm from the Kingdom of Artemisia. I'm a mistress of the laurel. I'm a bunch of other stuff and like Roost. Please call me Fia if you need anything, because Fiametta, I can't even make that's my mom joke, but my mom does play, but it's not my mom. So, but Fia is what I go by. So by all means, this class, I am going to actually be taking everything off, talking about head wraps, and then putting it all back on so that you can see how I do it. Temple rings, Aisha said that they are sexy and she'd like one. I also love temple rings. I'm a huge fan of it, and I just talked a little bit about it in my last class. Temple rings, called temple rings because they were at your temple. In burial sites, they found the remains of them always at the place of the temple, and so that is why we call them temple rings. Here's from the book, you can see temple rings, temple rings, temple rings, temple rings. There are a great many versions of temple rings. They are a descriptor for where you are from. They indicate the tribe you are a member of. They are not really religious. They aren't a temple thing like going to a temple. This is because they're right here. My alternative persona is from Novgorod, mid 13th century, and so that is why I wear these temple rings. You can, okay, you copied your link to the Google Class Docs. Hold up, let me try again. I'm gonna drop that in here. Copy. I think this is talking about, I'm assuming the roll. Yeah, try that. But I'm gonna start taking this off, and then we can talk about the different layers of head wraps and what goes on them and how you do them. A lot of times people ask me, no, you're fine, Vic, just don't even worry about it. A lot of times people will ask me about a couple of things. Like, first of all, they'll ask me about veil sizes. Veil sizes are completely personal. You find veils that work for you. Sometimes they're long, sometimes they're short. I have ones that are very big. I have ones that are, see, I told you I had Bluetooth headphones in. I have ones that are big. I have ones that are short. I have round one or oblong ones. I have complete rectangle ones. Veiling is super personal. Depending on the size of your head, poor Pavoynik, determines what you will wear. And depending on also how you're going to wrap your veil also will be a thing. We're going to go through a couple of different ways to wrap a veil. Wrapping your veil, you're never going to get it right the first time. I'm here to tell you. If you ask my apprentices, my friends and everything, how many times I put my veil on, especially if I'm not looking at a mirror, and then I get it all on, and then I look at a mirror and I go, what is this? What is this? And then I rip it all off and start again. So in period, women had ridiculously long hair, and they would plait it. They would quite often do a crown braid all the way around their head, and then wrap it kind of down here at the base so that they created this nice little foundation. I do not have that much hair anymore. And if you were like me, you also don't have that much hair anymore, or you cut it, or you just don't care, right? So one of the things I can tell you for doing Russian head wrap is a couple of things. Number one, this is the most convenient thing to do when you are camping, because you're going to wear a different Pavoynik every single day. So it doesn't matter how gross and crappy your hair is underneath, because you've now been camping for 5 days and somebody turned the water off to the shower truck. Ain't nobody going to know except for you and whoever's in the tent with you when you take it off. I absolutely have, I don't even know how many Pavoyniks I have now. I make them out of a pretty fine linen, and they are vital. I usually have a stack of them when I go to camp. So the very first thing I do is I pull my hair into a pretty low bun. And I mean pretty low as in not necessarily past the nape of my neck, but if you can see, it's kind of like right there. It's a little bit higher up. This is the foundation upon a lot of this height is going to be created. So I will totally tell you that when I do that thing where I'm like, I'm gonna wrap all my veils on and get them all done, and then I'll get in there, I'll be like, why isn't this working? Why isn't it looking right? 9 times out of 10, it's because my bun is too high. So this doesn't have to be pretty. It does not have to look great. It does not have to be amazing. It's just got to be there. It's really just, I mean, I just put another rubber band down there because I'm basically making a little round ball at the back of my head that my veils are going to sit on. Russian women did wear earrings. They were completely hidden, but they did wear earrings. I have these laurel wreaths that are just slide through. So 9 times out of 10, that is what I'm wearing underneath my veils. This works for clean hair. This works for dirty hair. Personally, this morning, my hair was a little too clean, so I used a little bit of sea salt texturizer just to give it a little bit of stuff. The first layer utilizing period was called a pavoynik. A pavoynik is a white cap. This is a lot like when you were doing 14th century, you start getting into like St. Brigida's cap, right? Everybody know what I'm talking about with the really cool joinery work? Okay, a pavoynik. Yes, I color my hair. Yes, I wear makeup. Yes, I sweat when we go camping. So that is why having like a lot of these is extremely helpful. This is the best pattern and way to cut it that I have ever found, and I will get it in a hot minute, is actually, if any of you are familiar with Her Excellency Praxilla's blog, she did the best blog post about it. I'm trying to see if I can remember. I'll see if I can find it real fast. What? First time. Isn't that great? Making a pavoynik. This is the best, I'll have to tell her I'm sharing this all with you. This is the best tutorial I have found to make a pavoynik. It is my favorite. Step-by-step instructions. Thank you, Excellency Praxilla. She's from here in Artemisia. This is what I utilize. The only thing I do a little bit differently is in hers, it's a little bit, it's a little bit poofy, a little more muffin cappy that I prefer. Mine's a little bit narrower than that. But again, honestly, the biggest reason for pavoynik is veils are slippery. Veils aren't going to stay on your head unless you give it something to hold on to. Unless you want to head pin that stuff to your scalp, don't suggest. Wear something. This is the period piece. It's called a pavoynik. Some people will just utilize like a scrap piece of linen and tie it into a triangle and basically do the bandana wrap. You can absolutely do that. A pavoynik can be other colors. You absolutely can do it whatever you want. I choose to do all of mine in white, just because then I can take them and bleach them and who cares? But it is literally just gathered in the back with a drawstring and kind of a cap. So were earrings a personal indulgence or was there superstition? Nah, I don't believe there was so much of a superstition as much as there was just, man, Russian people, Russian females especially, like as much as they were allowed, they were blingy people. They wanted to just wear jewelry as much as they wanted. Like we just talked about in the last class, like they were bangles stacked. They were as many rings as they can. Like there's a couple of burial finds that are detailed in my book where they were wearing like multiple rings on each finger. So earrings are just a thing. I'm gonna tie this on. So this also, just want to say, doing it in a computer screen. So I basically just tie it on the bottom, see how it's going over that button, wrap it around, and then tie it at the top. See that? Can you see that okay? Everybody able to see that? Makes sense?
Yeah.
So okay, thank you. I was like, can everybody see this? I'm backwards. And then just kind of tuck all that in. My fantastic apprentice there.
I was just going to say, high five to the apprentice. Good
Right,
job
thank
doing
you.
that.
Thank you, Trenza. That's my apprentice, Lady Ann.
Thank you.
We also call her Trenza. I tuck as much as I can. Now remember, all this is going to be covered, so it's not a big deal. And like, this is also why, you know, when I was talking about wearing my Bluetooth headphones, you can't see them because they're going to be hidden by veils in it. But this is where we start. If I were to remake this one, I would probably make it a little bit longer so that it came down more across my ear and covered the back of my hair.
I was going to say, is there a hard, fast rule about how much you need to cover? Like, did you have to cover your ears? Is it better above all your hair?
Honestly, it is your personal preference. Just remember, your hair is not supposed to be visible. Now, I like this because it's not covering my ears so much. I have other ones that, like I said, will come down here. But then it pushes onto my earrings and it gets all weird, and I don't really like that. So I tend to cover up more the rest of it when I'm wearing another veil. So this is about the level at which I like this, like I said, and then, you know, I don't really like the gigantic muffin poofy thing, but this is one of my very first ones. I asked my mom to ship me a bunch of stuff so I could teach class, and of course I get this one, the one that I'm like, oh, you're sending me the very first one. So, but thank you, Mama, for sending me my stuff. It's kind of up to you. It is a trial and error. It's definitely, you kind of just gotta figure out. Like I said, you can absolutely start with a bandana, like a square, flip it into a rectangle, and do the exact same thing. I don't know if she's a countess or a duchess. Phoebe from Outlands. She did a really cool, awesome YouTube channel or YouTube video about it, and she utilizes just like a bandana type tie, and she often will do it in a different color because she's very fair. If you need to worry about that whole color, you know, washing out your face, I'm wearing a lot of makeup because this will eventually wash out my whole face. From here, there's a lot of different things you can do. This is a pretty big cotton gauze. It is the remnant of this sari. So I love that, though. This is actually the shorter one of the two that I have. So you can find the middle. Doesn't have to be perfect. Flip it over. I like to flip the ends a bit and kind of give it a nice line. See? I like to do this pretty half circle moon there, right? At this point in time, you can do a number of things. You can go away. No.
Have you seen Lippy?
Have you guys seen my kid? Have you seen the one? Because that was the other one wanting to know if I've seen her. I've not seen her. So you can do a couple of things for right now. You can just do the light ubris. Here you go. Ready? Stylish. It's just tossing it over your shoulders. Totally works, right? I'm covered. Good. You can even, if you want, take your two ends. Do a little bit of this action. Just make one little knot. Put it down there. Curl your back. Period. Totally accurate. Doesn't have to be tight. Doesn't have to be much. Just none of my hair is showing. Can't see nothing. It's all good. Keeping the demons at bay. You can also tie above that bun. What? Same stuff. Same good. All good. It's all good. This period. You can do it behind your head. This one's a little hard, and this one's the one I always get screwed up, but gather all your pieces together, right? Okay, you can at this point. I never get this right though. You can tie it in a knot right here. See if I can do it. If I can, it'll be a miracle. This is also where I cut my hair, people. You get it? Anyway, you can tie a knot. It's kind of coming out. You see that, right? Okay, so you can do that as well. You can tie a knot. The other one you could do, and what I just did to make this a little bit easier, is how many of you have seen the bun version where they start to spin it and they create a bun right here on the back? I see that a lot for just day wear. I see that a lot for just leaving your camp and heading to go to a class or whatever. I see that a lot for before we go to court. Perfectly great way to wear it. I had a lot of trouble with that, getting the spin right. And so what I will suggest, the way it finally worked for me is, what I just did behind me is I crossed my pieces. So this piece is actually from over here, and then this piece is from over here. So I did one cross, and then I could pull them a bit tight, if you see that. And can you see that good?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So then once I have that tied, look how much nicer and more secure that is on my head. Now this is the part where you can go and you can tie that knot if you want, makes it a little bit easier, or you can just even leave it this way. This is also where a lot of ladies like this version. This is not my favorite version. But they twist up this end and they do this, right? Right? How many of you have seen this one? And then they bring it down here and they kind of tuck it in. Or you can pin it.
I've done that.
Right? Yep, yep. Twist the other side. Twisty, twisty. Do, do, do. Twist it around. Scratch your nose. Woo, girl. Also, same thing. Arrange those pretty how you want them. Same thing. Tuck it in, right? You absolutely can do that. Now, at that point, I can also just put on my Nishalnika, put it on over it. Works out, right? I mean, I would adjust this obviously and put it down. I would put it down below me and all that stuff.
Did they used to decorate, like hang things off of it, or like you just have the headband with the temple rings?
Sorry. Children yet again. Did they decorate like their veils, do you mean? Or do you mean like the headband part?
Or the veil part. Did they do other things than headbands with temple rings?
I haven't seen a lot of example of a lot of things with decorations on the veils. Mostly that's just they had different colors. You could have like some pattern stuff, but they didn't really add a lot to it, mostly because unless it was your top ubris, like all of this was either pinned up, tucked in, and so there wasn't a lot of chance that anything you did on like embroidery wise would be seen. Does that make sense? Like if you were gonna, like especially like in this version, if you embroidered like the bottoms, right?
Yeah, you wouldn't see it.
That's all gone, right?
Okay.
The thing that I have absolutely done, if I want to, is I have a couple of Nishalnika, or I'm sorry, a couple of Povojniks that have embroidery right here, or even just finishing stitches along that. You want, Marina, you wanted to see the back of my head still right now? Or I'm sorry, I just saw that. Which part of the back of my head?
It was when you had how you tied the Povojnik, but don't worry about it.
Did you get it? Or do you, I mean, I can take it back off, or are you good?
If you don't mind taking off really quick and just letting me see how you tied that bun at the back, because my hair's short.
Good.
My hair's short. Tie that.
So my other apprentice, she also has a lot of short hair, and she does the best she can to pull it all into that short bun. If not, also the thing that I've been kind of dinking around a little bit is, have you ever made a sock bun? Like where you take a sock and you cut it. So you take a sock, like an athletic sock, you cut the toe off and then you roll it. And it makes like a donut. And I've actually thought about trying that, of putting that on somebody who has short hair, putting it right there, and then putting the pavoinic over it. So you're creating that fake little bump there, or Elizabethan rat. So there are options. Yeah, see, you can try a bunch of different things, but like, so when I put my pavoinic on, get it all kind of on there, mine has just got finger loop braid in it. Okay, can you see that okay?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm just kind of, this is a little big for the back of my bun, so I just over, you know, I cross it once, right? I make two ties, I wrap it above my bun, and then I'm just tying it just in one little knot. Oh, oh, oh. Just like that. So it's just around my bun.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem. Just holding it in place.
I never get my head wraps right, ever.
Right, it's all good. Well, and I mean, even right now, I just did that, and yeah, a shaper works really great. You can even take like a little wash towel, folder. You can make your little fake for you. You can make a little pillow. You're just looking for something to give you a little bit of lift right there, because like I said, this is kind of where everything is going to start.
Question real quick.
Sure.
So you were doing the veil over it, and you were showing different places that you could place a knot. You were saying you could do like a little knot bun. Did you do it over top of the current bun of your hair, or is it above it, or do you want to extend that? I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I'm actually, that's actually what I'm going to do right now, is I'm going to do the little bun version right now. I'm going to do the little bun version right now. This is the one that I see quite often everybody do. It's a little fakey bun, right? And it took me the longest time to get this right. And when you get, everybody's going to be okay with my pavoinic slipping and showing a little bit of hair, right? We're not going to chastise Mr. Sophia for a lot of on and off. So like I said, the very first thing I do to make it work better is I do that one cross, right? I do that one cross, it sits a little bit better. So now I just have it crossed one time, it's X in the back, right? So now if I'm gonna do that bun part, I can do it one of two ways. I'm gonna spin these, first of all, keep them all kind of nice. Doesn't have to be pretty spin, doesn't have to be great, it just has to be a spin. And then you can do it around my bun, right? See that? See where it's around the bun?
Ah.
Yeah.
Right. And then I just tuck that in, which also is very helpful for some of you guys who don't have really long hair and you need to utilize this layer to create that bun. And I would just do the exact same thing. This one, I would just also, he's slipping. It's okay. It's okay, right? It's okay. It's okay. And then I could just tuck that. I mean, obviously it'd be a lot neater and nicer. I would tuck it in as well, or I could just pin it in. But that, you have this big bun right there. So got that?
I have seen that before.
Right, it's very popular. And a lot of, here's the thing too, a lot of head wrapping is transitional to a heck of a lot of different cultures, right? All right, so that is some of the most basic kind of hanging out, doing your thing, bumming around camp, watching a tournament, not necessarily need to go anywhere, super cool. But let's say it is time to, let's go to court. Y'all want to go to court? It's not a big court. It's like baronial court. It's opening court. It's not going to be big. Not a lot of stuff's going to happen there. But we definitely want to look definitely want to be a little bit more than that bun look, right? Got my pavoinic on, looking fabulous. Now I'm going to tie my ubris. Ubris, by the way, is veil. I'm going to tie it. For this one, this is a very popular look. This is where we get the bump. This is where we get the peacock look. I don't do it same length. About a third, about 2/3, okay? And again, remember, first time, never gonna get it right. Gotta do it multiple times. So now you have a couple of options here. This is going to be a cross underneath your chin. You may do it super loose. You can do it super loose and adjust your little layers to make it look pretty. And then you're going to come back here and do some stuff. Okay, we'll do it in just a second. Or, and I can see I need a little bit more. I will measure it in just a second. It is rather large though. I don't know. My wingspan apparently. I will have to get a tape measure and I'll let you know. Or I can ask somebody to find me a tape measure. I don't know. Hold on. Hold on, I'm gonna mute and I'll yell for.
Usually they're 2 to 2.5 yards.
We'll see if that works. Okay. My apprentices, none of them like super tight on their neck. You may also be that thing and that's okay. I personally don't, doesn't bother me. So at this point in time, I take my shorter end and I wrap it first. And it is covering up the waddle. And I am gonna sit and adjust it and pull it.
Yay, I like that.
Right? I'm all, let's look, we're gonna look sleek. Right? Look at, don't do it like that, that's bad.
Agree.
Don't do it super tight, but yep. There, yes. His jobs are perfect. So then I tend to wrap mine a bit tight. And it's because, especially if I'm going to pin on another one, I want it to be rather tight. But you can do whatever works for you. So then I'm going to pull it around. I'm going to tie a knot. There, we see that okay? And I'm actually going to tie it.
So you're tying it above your bun?
I
Yes?
am tying it above my bun,
Okay.
yep. Because the short end needs to be at the bottom. Okay, everybody see that? The top end is gonna come over and I'm just gonna drape it. And look, it just covered all of that mess. Looks all pretty.
Looks like a ponytail.
Yeah, and then from the front. So then I can do a couple things. I can tuck this in if I want. I can leave it like that. I can also, at this point, this is what I'm gonna get my Nishelnika. This one is sewn together. You don't have to sew them together. You can leave them unsewn. I have multiple ones. But at this point, if I was gonna put it on, I was gonna take this part, my pretty part, flip it forward. And this is funny because it's sewn together. It is sewn together too big. And I'm gonna take it over that part, right? And I, because I'm silly, get it where I want it. And because I sewed this too loose, because I thought I had a much fatter head than I actually do, I just take a corsage pin and I pin it right into my knot. So it stays there. And then I take that bad boy and just flip it back up. What?
Excellency, how does that work with your cornet? Do you just not wear your cornet when you have this type of scarf on?
If I'm gonna wear my coronet, I put all of this on first. And then if I wear my coronet, if I choose to, I just put it on over here. So it sits about right there.
Okay.
One of my pictures from the Bruce class, the last class, was actually a picture of me and my coronet, and it just sits right about there. I don't have my coronet with me, or else I would show you that. But you can take those ends. You can leave them free if you want. You know, you can fluff them up. Do like that. So this.
The headband, is that particularly Rus as well?
This one right here?
Yeah.
Yes. So this is called a nishelnika or a nashelnik, or there was another name for it too. They were tablet woven trim. They were silk with embroidery on it. That's what this is. This is a thunder mark for my household. And these are all protective runes. This is fabric stamped with the thunder mark again for my household, with laurel wreaths. It's not period. Those are not temple rings, but that's kind of the nice thing also about a temple ring is it's a metal dangly bit. It's a ring, I'm a Laurel. I can wear them. Say something, you know. This one is just the wool I utilized for this outfit. And then eventually I'm going to take this off and embroider a bit on it, but it's just the wool I used for that dress. And the silk bands I used, the guard I made for it. So same thing. Some of mine are sewn together. Some of them are tied. I like the sewn together ones if you can get your head circumference correct, because then you just slide them on, good to go. But tying sometimes is easier. This is, some of you guys from Artemisia know, this is a Livy one. It just gets tied on. She just wears a little, it's not even finished. Niche Nikas are like usually the last thing I do when I'm making a new outfit, so they're not always perfect. Does somebody have a question? That's good. Yes, Heidi, I'm with you on that. I do like the tied ones so that I can adjust them as I'm getting ready. But I know that sometimes if they're just connected in the back, I can just slide down. And yes, the ties can get in the way. In fact, that's the issue I have with this one, is that when I put this one on, because I made the ties so long, when I tie it, then I have to tuck them all in and sort of figure it out, especially because it's unfinished, and then it just. So this, however, yes, we were talking about that a little bit earlier, Sappy Siggy, right? Pattern veils and scarves are permissible. Yes, you absolutely can. We were talking a little bit about it. If you're gonna do a pattern or embellished scarf, I would definitely do it as your last layer though. Because if you had taken a lot of time to do a lot of patterning and stuff and embroidery and things like that, like on this veil, nobody's gonna see it once you've done a lot of wrapping, you know? So it's kind of just a personal choice. Yes, you want to see the fun embellishment. Yes, Mr. Heidi, absolutely. So a lot of times this is it. This is where I reside in my veils. This is how I normally look Monday through Thursday, chilling like this, no big deal. This is perfectly acceptable. This is like, I would say maybe like lower nobility. It's definitely more because we're not necessarily just doing like the bun wrap in the back. You want to shine it on, let's say fancy time. Now I'm heading to the grandest of grand courts. I'm going, oh, Kalia, I will talk about that in a second. I'm going to the court. I'm going to big court. If you're like me, you got a herald, or you got to look cool, or somebody else got to look cool, or you want to catch a fella's eye, or if you know old musicals just like me, you're going to be wearing ribbons down your back when summer comes because you want to catch the attention of people. This is my absolutely lovely veil. I have a multitude of these. This is a silk linen blend veil. You can get these from Feed the Ravens. You can get these from a different place. I love them in colors. This is also a lot of times where I will wear this one as a darker color, this black, because I'm going to almost always wear a colored veil on top of it. So I generally try to find that center. Doesn't have to be perfect. If somebody comes up to you and says, your veil's not centered, punch them in the eye and walk away because you don't need that type of hateful attitude in your life. You do the best you can do. You may do this in a lot of different ways at this point. So I've got my pretty little top up there. You can pin it right there. You can pin it there if you want. And I will totally say for veil pins, if you don't have period ones, some of my favorite things ever, corsage pins. They got that really nice fake pearl button on the back, but you can just go in right here and go, boop, one little pin, two little pins. And you can just like, oh, I'm pretty, I'm beautiful, you all love me, but I'm keeping the demons at bay because I love you too. Oh, right, okay. Options. That's number one. You can pin it there. Number two, you can bring it over your head and you can pin it right above, right on that bump, right? And I kind of pull this up a bit to give me sort of that whole later period Kokoschnik look, which I know Mistress Heidi is all about. She's like, yes, you said the magic word. Right, and I just do 2 little pins right there. See, there you go. Toot toot. Beautiful, glorious, fantastic. Okay, also totally cool. You can pull this bad boy farther down. You can totally cover up that black if you want to. You can totally do it. And like I've seen, or you can do it right there. I've seen this fold. Trying to stab myself in the face while I'm doing this, right? This is where I reserve my colored veils for these reasons. Ow, stabbed myself. For these reasons. Because I love how a colored veil finishes this off. This is where you could use your patterned ones. This is where you can do some of that embroidery if you want it to show. You can do it right here, anywhere. This is like where we're doing big court, when I want to look fancy, when I'm going places that don't have open flame.
Do you put your coronet over top of that?
If I was going to wear my coronet, this would be the time I put my coronet on. I would do it right here. If I was wearing this level, this is what I would wear it over.
Sorry, that was Lily in the background.
I don't mind.
Sophia.
Did you see Khalid earlier where I was like, get
I
out,
know.
child.
She's a pterodactyl. That's what she sounds like.
We love it.
So going back to Sappy's question, where the ornamentation, would this be a good place to do the red as well on the veil to keep the demons at bay?
Yeah, so this is a perfect place. If you want to start putting protective stuff on the bottom of your veil, on the hems and whatnot, or even right in here, yeah, this is absolutely where you're going to want to put some of that stuff in there. Like protecting the good of the village right here, keeping myself all covered. You don't want to see my happy girl parts, my hair.
Would they have block printed them?
I
I don't know. I was just wondering if you knew.
I've never seen an example of a block printed one, but I don't see where you couldn't. I mean, at that point, are you doing what you want to do because you want to block print it? Man, go for it. Who's going to tell you not to? Again, poke them in the eye if they tell you that crap. Yeah, that's true, Heidi. So she says the ones she's seen have messed with the drape of the veil. So that's why I was just going to actually talk about. Funny story. Veils can be made out of lightweight wool. They can be made out of silk. They can be made out of lightweight brocade. I know that, who asked me? Kalia, you asked him if I change layers of fabric for weather, winter versus summer. I actually don't. I do not change. For those of you who went to King's Road at Death Becomes Us Hot, whatever, was it 2 years ago? It was hot. For those of you who aren't from Artemisia, we have an event that was in July, and we were in a very hot desert place, and Lord, was it hard. And I was actually quite nervous at the time to put on a veil. Like I was like, oh, this is not going to go well. And I had this cotton one, this cotton gauze one, and I had like this type, but it was in red because red's the best color ever. And I was really stressed about having to put on a veil to go to court because I believe there was an elevation that evening. I'm not even going to lie though, putting on my veils, instant temperature change. Like I put on this stuff and I was thinking, I'm going to die. I'm going to die of heat stroke. Nope. Veiling was amazing. Actually cooled everything down. I was like, oh, this is pretty killer. Like I'm down. I think if anything that I would do differently is I would probably change out this gauze one to maybe something a little bit thicker. But the reality is I like having this thin layer right there because then it doesn't get too bulky. I don't want a lot of stuff to go through, right? The bulkier it is, the harder it is to get it to layer, right? So this is usually handkerchief linen. This is usually something really lightweight. And you kind of want them to be crinkly fabrics. Does that make sense? You want to have them See how this one's all very loose and flowing and breezy and beautiful. This would take a lot of work to get it to do this. You want a more crinkly fabric that is going to kind of hold its shape a little bit better, especially if I were to take my pins out and go right back to this, and I want my head, right? And I just gotta fluff a bit. That is not gonna be able to hold with this. Or if it is, you're gonna need to pin this a lot to keep that shape. So the kind of more bite you have to your fabric, the better that's gonna go. Is there a particular design you can use to embellish your veil? Sky's the limit. Geometric patterns, zoomorphic animals. Heck yeah. You can find tons and tons and tons of examples of whatever you want to put on it. So,
were there any rules about what you used for decorations? Like I see your current headband with the temple rings, it has pearls and runes on it. Was that more prevalent than other kinds of decorations or gems?
nope. I'm just, my persona is lower nobility, still pretty wealthy. So pearls were a thing that were available to somebody in my class. This is a thunder mark. It's the sigil for my household. It's for the patron god we have. And so these are all protective runes that I just embroidered on. They all mean something for like our group.
And then do you mix and match colors? I see most of yours match with your outfits, the bands.
This was all made to go together.
But is that normal? Does it matter?
It does not matter. I also have a couple of like tablet woven trims. So that's the other thing. You don't have to use a niche nika like this. People also just do like a band of yep. Miss Anna's got a piece of trim there that she utilizes. You can use tablet woven trim. You can use stuff like that. Sky's the limit. You can also do the ones which I love where they're a lot longer. I don't think I have anything that long, but imagine this is like a thing, and it ends up like the way they like it's really really long, right? So it goes around the head and then it backs and then they have like another one, right? So they do kind of like multiple ones. Oh, you can tie it however you want. So I've seen it where they've got the really long ones where they tie it, come down under the bun, cross it, bring it back up, and layer it so they've got like 3 of them showing, and then they bring it back down and do it again. So
thank you.
yeah, no problem. Yeah, I mean, I love veiling, and I will totally tell you guys when I first started in the SCA, like I picked Italian, like late period Italian, because I was like, I ain't wearing no veil. No, I ain't doing it. You ain't making me do it. I'm not doing it. And then I stuck with that for forever because I didn't have to cover my head because my independent woman self was like, I ain't covering my head. You can't make me. Yes and no, Shanna. Just a second. And then started dating a dude. Ain't that the way? And he was Roos. And I was like, oh, you're pretty cute. I guess I'll do this too. And I remember the very first time I put like full veils on, and I was just like, I'm so pretty. Oh my gosh, you all should see how pretty I am. And then of course people were like, yeah, you're pretty, Fia, shut up. And I'm like, no, look how pretty I am. So it was really great. Like here's this mental shift where I was like, I'm not going to want to wear a veil. And now when I go to a event and I'm not wearing Roos and I don't have full veils on, I'm like, I have to brush my hair. I don't like any of you right now. So that's remember when I said, ain't nobody knows what's going on underneath here. You don't know if I ain't washed my hair for a week. You have no clue. Only I know. Keeping you from danger. Temple rings. I have armored castings is one of my favorite places to get them. They are in Poland though, so it does take a bit, but you can get them gold plated. You can get them silver. You can get them. Feed the Ravens sells a lot that come out of the Baltics. Yep, it is perfect for those with weird colored hair who don't want to look too out of period. Although also, normally my hair, the bottoms are like hot pink, so also I don't care about whether or not. Let's see. Feed the Ravens. It's Maggie and Scott's page. They go to. I can do that real fast. See if I can do it. I can do it. I'm gonna do it. That's one of my, this is what they have, great ones. They also sell a lot of veils. They are SCA people, so that's always helpful. Duke Arthur down in Aytonville makes them as well. I don't know if he's got a website though. I think he just does it through like his Facebook page.
Those ones are custom normally that he does.
Yeah.
And they're a little bit spendier, but I
They
love
are.
mine. I love mine.
Yeah, and he does a lot of the Ratamachi style. Like I said, there are like 11 different tribes and totally different styles of temple rings. If I were to tell you my very snobby way, I'd be like, you need to figure out what tribe you are in. Don't listen to me. That's not nice. You can wear whatever dang temple ring you want to wear. And if I am mean to you like that, you tell me to shut my mouth, because that's not nice, Fia. But all different types, all different kinds. These are the type that Cortland was talking about. She has some of these that were made by Duke Arthur that have strawberry leaves on them, right?
Yes, and my household.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, but I mean, these ones was a metal with a bead on it. The swirly pattern, the Severin ones were really nice. These are kind of popular too. It's a metal hoop and it's got these 3 metal baubles on it. So you can honestly just look at temple rings. This is armor and castings. This is the place where I get a lot of, oh, dang it, Cortland, I was messaging you privately. Wasn't trying to, she was giving me a time check. So there is armor castings. Here is Feed the Ravens. Those are most of the places I get them.
Hey, Fia, I was just going to say, the veils I've been getting is the silk chiffon veils with the crinkled, and they've been like $2.99 a yard lately.
Yeah, yeah. Veils, like I said, veils are a super personal thing. I know what I like. What I like might not necessarily be what you like, but when you're doing things, like I said, oh man, I'm trying to scroll up and get the name of that book again. When you were doing it, like I said, the ones that have a little bit more bite to it, a little bit more crinkle, that kind of aren't your fluttery kind. You know, the type where when you wear them, they kind of stick to your clothing. They're not really going to move. That's perfect for this layer. That's perfect for the bun twist, because they're going to stick to each other. They're going to grab on and they're not going to move a lot, which is also why we wear this layer, because it gives it something. Because if you've tried this on your regular hair, how well does that go? You probably can do it. How often are you that's the other thing. If you have the right layers, this don't come off. I don't have to do this again for the rest of the day. It stays exactly where it needs to be. It doesn't move. It doesn't come off. It doesn't, this is it. Like I could wear this all day long.
And the black layer is what someone suggested as the cotton voile hijab?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Perfect.
Yep, that was Mistress Heidi. Yep. Like I said, this came from a cotton sari that I took this off of, and this is what was left. And I used it because it is light and it is gauzy, and I love it.
And just to let you know, I know I had to cancel my class, but all of this you can, you had to turn it, you can turn it into Byzantine.
Yes.
Just
yeah,
like
so
that.
that was kind of the conversation we had too in my last class was, you know, this sort of all transitioned into Byzantine, and then we had like the Mongol influence and everything, but also cross-cultural, and especially head wraps. A lot of the same things that we're doing are going to be the same wraps that or the same style and same things. Like I was talking about when you do like 14th century, what are they called? Wimples, right? When they talk about doing that wimples, the first thing they're going to tell you, man, you have to have a base layer. You have to give it something to hold on to. That I would absolutely say is probably the thing that I see the biggest thing that people miss, and it's the foundation. So even if you just get that rectangle, make a triangle and tie it, like you'll be good. Do I have any other questions? This is your chance.
I came in a little bit late. What was the book that you were showing us?
Oh, sorry. Well, that's I'm scrolling through because I typed it in at one point and now I'm all.
Oh, hold it, wait. And I was looking. Okay.
No, it's all right. Well, if you came in late, Cam, you won't be able to see it. It is. This is what's called. Oh, that's backwards. The Burial Dress of the Rus in the Upper Volga region, late 10th to 13th centuries.
Actually,
Only
when
you
pull
see
it up,
it backwards. You see it right.
Yeah.
It's frontwards for us.
Oh, on my screen, it's backwards. So I was like, you can't read that.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yep. Fantastic book. Probably my most favorite. Helga, is that what what is that?
Oh, that's fantastic.
What? Yeah. That's the book. So there's the book. I got it on Amazon. I don't know how much it is there right now, but I got it for an amazing deal. You can put it on like one of your watch lists. Yeah, it's pricey, not gonna lie. Like I said, I got it for a little bit over $40 and it was pristine and still sealed. So I was like, come to mom, come with me. So if you're gonna do Rus in general, I would say this fantastic book, like excavations.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so this is a really good
Thank
book. And then obviously, Sophia LaRousse on the internet. She hasn't really updated it in a couple years, but a lot of that's kind of like where you start in Rus if you were to go look for online help. And she has got a whole bibliography, but a lot of the books that she has in her list are not available anywhere. They're out of print and things like that. So you do what you can. Any other questions?
I typed a question. So I have a bunch of like pashminas I got from different relatives and stuff. Am I able to like, I use them. Am I scorned if I use like things like with patterns that look like that?
I mean, who's going to scorn you, girl? Who's going to scorn you that you ain't going to poke their eye out? Like, you be a strong, independent Rus woman and you don't take none of that. No, no, you wear what you want to wear. I mean, yeah, that's my apprentice Anne. She wears a lot of pashmina as well, and they're fantastic, especially in the winter when you get that really lovely cashmere wool on there.
And they give you like such volume and like, ugh.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, if you're going to use it for this layer, I'd probably be a little careful because it can tend to get a little bulky, and especially if you get the kind that has fringe. I don't even know what fringe is. That would be a little more difficult. I tend personally to not use veils that have fringe on them. I don't want to sit and tuck it all in, and then I don't like the bobbers. That is a thing I will say. If you are not used to wearing temple rings, I would suggest you put them a little back. If they were like right here, like when I first started wearing them, I'd be like what's that? What's that? Or also, don't whip your head. That's bad.
Like little horse blinders.
Yeah. And I've literally hit myself in the face with my temple rings before and been like, oh, it's my eyes. So don't do that. But any other questions about this? You have about 4 minutes. You can stay, you can go. That's pretty much it for me. So
Thank you.
Hope you enjoyed it. Yeah. Oh, you know what? I put this in. This didn't have a handout, but this is my email address. If you have any, oops, I said that to Kathy. This is my email address. If you have any questions, I'm on Facebook. Jennie Fauss is my name. So if you have questions, comments, concerns, want to know more about it, want to chat, want to have talks, just let me know. Other than that, thank you, everybody. Please make sure that you assign the attendance sheet. I'm going to stop recording.